we were in the Winter Palace Gardens at the start of last session, and you all were about to watch the Northern Lights effectively, and enjoy like the last night of your holiday. It had a bit of a rocky start, but generally it had been kind of all fun and games and exploring different things whilst you were there. But what happened next?
The Arik crashed the party, and then we bullied them out of it.
Do you remember how that started? How the Arik crashed?
It was, I mean, we obviously suspected Hubert.
Hubert,
Bog Blossom, yeah, and Gabby. They were together. We saw Bog Blossom with a box that contained the Mage Hunter energy, and so we informed Plarg of this, and he took Bog Blossom like away, and then all of a sudden like there was this flash of light, and then everyone except a few of us were stunned or incapacitated in some aspect, and all of a sudden there came the Arik trying to grab Winona's necklace.
Yes.
And then through a series of unfortunate events and mainly dragging characters through Greece provided by Sven, we basically bullied them out of leaving.
Nice. What were standout moments for people? Let's all mention one thing. So, Dravarax, what was a standout moment for you?
Standout moment was the Arik seemingly being trained by Plarg as far as their efficiency with using weapons in battle, because they were really bad at it. So
Wow.
It seemed like they were just a bunch of blind bandits running around.
I was like, where are you going with this? I was like,
Super dig. You didn't even see it coming.
No, I know. That was
Clark didn't either, but it's fine.
Wait, no. Wow. Jesus.
Stand out moments. Definitely finding out the power of these masks that they're wearing, and like seeing the faculty and the students all banding together to try and fight back at the Arik. Faculty obviously handling it a bit better than others. But yeah, it was I liked the inclusion of like off-map combat and people coming in, even though it ended up, having other Arik people come in from other places, ended up being harder for us.
Yeah.
It was nice.
I think I need to make that map bigger as well. I realized, I think, especially if like people, are going to try and...
You can always zoom in,
Yeah. Yeah, I think I just need to have those walls like more defined and have it out or something.
No.
So it is kind of tiny for how many tokens are on there. Nice. And then what's something for you, Spirit?
Obviously my fabulous Chaos Bolt, finally
that was so
finally
cool.
doing what it's meant to do.
Game-changing Chaos Bolt.
Just ripped through them. That was nice.
Yeah. Ripped through Gabby, okay? The important one.
And then
you hit both characters though.
I did hit multiple people, and it was great.
That's yeah, it totally changed the dynamic of that fight.
And then what about you, Seymour? What stood out for Seymour?
Probably the mass level of threat. Mostly it's been like little incidents that have targeted maybe like a small group of people. Maybe like one person was at like severe risk, but it's like, oh yeah, we should be all right, all things considered. It's like, it just sucks that we have to experience pain, and that's been kind of it. But like, these people are an active threat, like, and to everyone, and at least to say more, that's of it's a prisoners are not sort of taken, not usually.
Yeah, it's the kind of
And
like
if prisoners make it, maybe half survive, like he's like, no way,
Yeah.
we're not doing this.
what stood out for me in that sort of sense was that like it was an example of the world outside of Strixhaven, like
Yes,
now beginning to
exactly.
affect you a lot, which is cool.
I've been kind of, I know in private messages, I basically was begging for this to happen, something like that. I was like, I just didn't know what the force was. You know what I mean? I didn't know what to call it. It had no name yet. But I was like, there's gonna be something. There's something there. That the Arake, or if there's another organization similar to them as well.
Yeah,
could just be the one.
And then like
Surprised.
Go on.
Oh, I was gonna say I'm surprised that Samor didn't mention that wicked use of that mind reading potion.
Yeah.
You know what?
That
was really satisfying. Actually, it was very crazy because it gave us like puzzle pieces. So I actually really enjoyed that because it was clues versus immediately.
I've never
getting
seen a feature be so effective by not working. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
like,
exactly.
like, oh,
I was like, I just need to
read
know
this illusion. Oh, I'll mind read the Arake. No, you can't. Oh, I'll mind read a player. Oh, you also can't. Like, holy shit.
Literally, like, you can't. I was like pounding my desk, like, I knew it. I was like, this doesn't seem like Plarg. How can he see around when there's ice on the ground? What? That's not how his ability works. Benji would have talked about it. You were always really on top of it before, like in other areas. Like you would always be like, "Where are you?" Like, like you constantly would roleplay him that way. So when he was just kind of like, "Do what they say," I was like,
"Bullshit." Yeah.
Seriously, sir? I mean, when mummies last time we didn't listen to this guy, so I might listen to him. I was about to just be like, fuck it, like I will let these guys get away, I guess. Like if Clark's telling me to, but yeah, it paid off.
No,
Thank
really
you
good.
actually for reminding me of that. It was super satisfying.
Yeah, and
I'm getting all the dopamine again. Thank you.
What was something for Sven? I appreciate with the rolls that might be a risky question.
Yeah. So, I mean, like the overall collaboration to like keep one opponent in Greece was fucking amazing.
Yeah, I loved that. That was really cool. Everyone really worked well on that. I think as a controller character, it's so important what your team does. Why is the music not playing? This is annoying me.
Yeah, definitely.
Was there anything else, or? Because I think that's good.
Well, it made me think twice about like yeeting his ass away. You know.
I think I really liked. What's interesting is I try and come up with different things for you all to like when I make one of these encounters, especially if it's like quote boss level or whatever. I try and have like the worst case scenario. This is what happens, and so far with like Dapperwing Manor, with the Loxodon tomb, and with this, you've like gone straight for the worst case scenario.
Great.
And then still beating it, and I'm like, oh shit! Like fair play, you lot. Like this is great because there's like definitely conditions of like if you like, choose one way or the other. Like there's definitely ways of going about things. But like I find that you're like to get all the information and stuff, which is so important. And I think it makes for a better story. But it also like can make encounters harder because as you develop the narratives within them and as you get all that information, obviously more things come out of it. So yeah, that's nice to see. Right, so you all find that the you all leave the Winter Palace behind. The flurry of snow fades before you as you are yet again wrapped in a cocoon of energy and have those senses and sights and smells that trigger, memories for you of your childhood or adolescence. And you all return to Strixhaven. Over the next day or so, it is kind of through the school organizing it. In part, this is now increased Dragon's Guard. What's the word? Visibility on like campus already. Even though it's like not even the first term yet and stuff. Just as you kind of like all get situated. Who returns home for the next sort of 9 days or 10 days or so?
Do the schools provide means for those who live in different planes?
Yeah. You can get to different planes and stuff. So you can absolutely go back home if you wanted to, and there's the the ability to teleport all over. Teleportation circles are kind of like instant train stations, so you never like just teleport directly into home. Like the paper that you ripped for open day was like obviously a very special sort of magic. But otherwise the teleportation circles would give you somewhere, or like you would have to plane shift, I think, or something like that.
Yeah. Dravarex and Wes. Well, is Xanther not going home because he's worried about going home? That would actually inform his decision.
Interesting. Well, I'm going to come back to you because I need to think about that for a hot second. So,
yep, come back to me.
What is Sven staying at the school, or does Sven go back to Deep Mine Industries for a little bit to plan an uprising? How does that go?
It's not. I feel like this is being oversold.
Hostile takeover through lawful means.
So, what do you want to know about it?
Well, I mean, let's focus. Let's magnify. Let's like zoom in. What are Sven's current? Like, let's actually talk about this. What are Sven's current plans? Like, you're in first year. There was apparently this conversation about like maybe the Elementals like moving into more management positions when you're finished with university. I guess that was the point of you being trained anyway. What beyond that is like Sven actively working toward, if anything?
So the thing that I think you have to understand about the like Elementals like plans in air quotes are that it is not like a plot. It is more of a deduced conclusion that the Elementals have arrived at. They are
Sounds like a fancy word for a plot, but sure.
They are all kind of intelligent beyond normal mortal means.
Sure, yeah.
And so basically they all became sentient, learned about what was going on at Deep Mine Industries, and I mean, like, in a manner of speaking, kind of looked at each other and said, like, I don't think so.
Okay.
And so there really hasn't even been anything that you would call like plotting. I mean, they have discussed what they need, how they need to better themselves in terms especially of socialization and understanding mortal motivations and requirements. I mean, Elementals are mortal, but like they're not. I guess biological is probably a better way to phrase it.
Mm-hmm.
And they all already had planned. I mean, it has kind of always been the intention of Deep Mine Industries for Elementals to be like middle management, because it was thought that it would be a huge like savings,
Right. Okay.
and also that it would be much more efficient, and elementals would be able to streamline manufacturing, production, extraction a huge amount. What they didn't really count on was that the elementals understood really quickly that elementals being in middle management meant that upper management is redundant.
Got you. Okay.
And so with very little planning like between each other, they all kind of understand that when they come back to become management, just like automatically when they return from their schooling, it'll be a pretty short period between that and elementals running Deep Mine Industries.
Okay, got you. So, so it's just like a given sort of thing. There's no necessary, like as you said, there's no plotting going on or anything that you're sort of forwarding in the meantime. Before that, it's just sort of a like in Sven's head, it's like a known fact, and it will happen. It will trigger after graduation.
Right. It's kind of like how much plotting do you need to like go fishing?
Got you.
You know, to the elementals,
It's more planning than it is plotting then.
Yeah.
Okay. And so with that in mind, what is Sven doing then over the rest of this holiday bit? Are you staying at the university and just studying, or are you working on anything? How are you effectively spending this downtime? Is there any like NPCs that you're trying to pursue or talk to, or would you return back to the Deep Mine Industries?
So Sven, there's no need for Sven to return to Deep Mine. There's really nothing there for them.
Okay.
What Sven will be doing is working on the minis.
Yeah, it's nice.
I'm assuming that Grayson will be away for holidays, but Sven will be working on minis and trying to figure out how the like small magic works and improving the like tools and equipment in the workshop, which is Sven's room.
Got you. Okay, cool. Yeah, I actually have a bit about that afterwards, so nice. And then I'll go back to Drevrex now. With Xantha, Xantha's worried about returning home, but also worried about the increased presence of Dragon's Guard that there seems to be on campus, and is actually doubting that he like it's twofold. He'll like have a conversation with you and basically state that he's unsure if he leaves, if he'd even like return just because of how badly that fight went for him. But he knows he needs to in order to get it under control. Like on one part, Strixhaven being, you know, the magical place that it is. And
we already had this conversation, Xanther. You know this is where you need to be.
Yeah, having the reason, but this is so in terms of going like back home or staying here, he's like, if I go back home, it's like it's gonna be nice to see family and stuff. But if if something happens there, there's far fewer resources that he can access. Whereas if he stays here, you know, he doesn't get to go home and see his family, but then he can like maybe give himself some distance from people. His relationship with Aurora has worsened greatly, and you know this because you're now getting like you spending so much time around Xantha has like kind of moved her ire onto you.
Yeah, we haven't really talked about how the fight went for them. We'll have to have that conversation. I think Draverax, he only really has one person and home to see, but you would really like to see them. But at the same time, I
And you could always
think.
take Xantha with you.
Well, I was gonna say, Xanther is free to come home there, or Duravix is free to go with him to see his family.
Okay.
Love getting away from Dragon's Guard.
Yeah. Well, I guess what I'm trying to do at the moment is this is really good. What you've just done is like we're establishing like the possibilities and how it might work, and then I think we should all come together and like sort of role play this out as the party and like work out what we're doing and how those things can like intermingle or work together. So like just I guess this is good. So the notes that we've got about Sven and Dravrik so far, like I think they're solid. So let's keep those, and then we can like expand on it in a bit with like actual role play if that sounds cool.
Okay.
And then what is Spirit? Spirit, what is Prospering up to? Like, what are your sort of thoughts about what you might do for the holidays?
He's gonna check in to see what Talana is going to be doing.
Okay. I think Talana is probably going back home for a bit. I think
Gotcha.
it's mainly so that she can get stuff sorted at home so she can return earlier because she wants to get studying in earlier. So she'll only be at home for like a few days before she comes back and starts like studying for the next term. She's very sort of, driven by grade success and stuff.
Okay. Cause Prospering. No, he wouldn't do that yet. Not quite. So Prospering, isn't really gonna do too much. Honestly, he would probably.
What are Prospering's goals right now?
To get stronger. But he's also very, very interested in talking to Plarg and attempting to find out more on like the mage hunters. And honestly put some other like just potential anti-magic things. He wants to learn more about them to see if there's any way he could potentially circumvent them.
Got you. Okay. Nice. So you've got to be studying the enemy, as it were.
Yeah.
Or
yes.
allies, depending on which way you go, I suppose. Nice. Okay. And then what about Seymour?
A little disillusioned. But he probably just wants to take an understudy with Plarg, I think, during the break.
Oh shit.
He's got no way to get home.
Really?
Unless somebody from home comes to get him. He's got no way to get home.
Do you want to explain that a bit?
It's really far away. Like where he doesn't have Spelljammer. He doesn't have the gate spell or anything like that.
Got you.
He doesn't. I don't know. Like Strixhaven provided magic to get to the school, but he doesn't actually have a way to get like off planet.
Right.
So
Because it's not necessarily like another plane or teleporting within the same sphere. It's somewhere in between the two in the like astral sea. Is what you're saying?
yeah, but
That
like
is problematic for magic travel.
we
Correct,
talked
yes.
about. That's
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
the little base there. So he's got to figure that out, I guess, if he wanted to get home. That's a thing all of
Yeah.
itself. But he's sort of like, I'm guessing someone will reach out to me
Yeah.
to return. But until then, he's like, I've got like nobody. I gotta stick with Plarg. So he's gonna try and understudy with Plarg a little bit.
Okay. I will say, if at any point you wanted to return home, you definitely could. There would be like there
I can
are
talk to people.
there are likely spelljammers that Strixhaven could sort for you, but it's definitely longer. It's like probably out of all the different ways of traveling between places, just because of the nature of like where it is and what it is, it's probably the longest of them all. Like teleportation's instant. Gates between planes would be a gate and then a teleportation between them most of the time, depending on where you are. But yeah, getting
Nah, you gotta get a little rocket
somewhere on the
ship.
astral sea, yeah, is like you'd have to teleport to a station in the same sphere and then go out of the sphere and then travel, which so that would be, you are right, that would be its own thing, would definitely eat into the period that you've got. So yeah, that makes sense. Nice. Good focus there. Why are some songs not working? Oh, not again.
It's also why I say more just can't just write a letter. Until he has access to sending, he's like, I'm SOL.
Yeah, makes sense.
And communications are kind of like touchy anyway.
I will say, for prospering, if he would probably ask if Talana would want to study with him once she gets back.
I thought you were gonna say stay with them in their room, and I was like,
no.
It's the S, and I was like, stay with them. All right.
Okay, yeah, it works. Sorry, I hate when the music doesn't work because I literally just solved this like a few days ago. It makes me sad. Sure, we'll go that. Okay, so you all return. Oh, sorry. My bad. Aegon, what's Aegon got planned?
I feel like while Seymour's not wandering around with Plarg, it's kind of just an Aegon and Seymour like Home Alone situation on campus. That's just where they'd be hanging out most of the time.
Oh, so wait, is Aegon not returning
home? No, it's too short of a trip to warrant like going home for that. Like they rate their family.
Sorry, I didn't practice your parents for like half an hour today or anything. That's fine.
Did you really?
I did a little bit, but it's fine. We can say
they should come visit sometime.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Right, that's good then. So, I assume you at least spend one night in the dorms, the dorm together.
For sure.
So let's. You've all returned and spent a night just kind of like recuperating. So please make sure you've all taken a long rest. Have we all like had the chance to level up and add the spells, by the way, and stuff?
Yes.
You took absorb elements. That's so cool.
I did.
Spell to take. Yeah, that's really good.
Oh,
really, really strong.
yes.
Wait, we're what level now?
Again, hello.
Yeah, that's good. You're level 4.
Oh.
Welcome to the game, Thomas.
I'm not. You guys all are.
It's okay.
You're also like half dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't feel good.
No, we took a long rest.
I
Yeah.
had. It was
This
like
is
I was
this is
pulled
the
into
morning after you returning, so.
a deep, dark, depressive nightmare. That was the last thing I remember.
hmm
What do you remember before you went down?
Not much. It feels like I just kind of took a nap and then I was awake and I just saw Gabby standing there. It was real weird.
um,
Oh, I should unpause the game. Would help.
we have fruit flies in this house, and they're killing me right now.
Oh no.
They're just attracted to the lights in my room.
As you say that out of character, in character, you look around, and there's you see like a faint dangling cobweb,
Oh,
over here.
Not again.
these
Yes.
white spiders.
They're so annoying.
I keep
And-
cleaning them.
There's been more. That's why I haven't seen them.
They try and run.
Oh dear. We should see where they're trying to go to. See if where they're coming from.
Yeah, I need the web for a component in a spell. That's why I harvest it. But, yes.
So, when you kind of as you're all here, that you do get some messages through Alexa. One of them offers that any of you that are staying kind of on campus, Plarg is looking to take you to like lunch one of the days, to kind of like touch base with everything that happened and just check in with you. As is interestingly, like seemingly separate, Nasari, one of the Prismari deans, I think they're a dean. Let me double check that actually.
They are now.
Huh, yeah. Life at Strixhaven, Prismari. Nisari, Dean of Expression, yeah. So they call you up as well. You'll know them to be a Genasi, and they were the one riding with, I believe it was the Reginas. And they famously turned in an earthquake which almost destroyed 3 campus buildings as their final dissertation piece. It received a standing ovation from the major student body and a grumpy thumbs down from the campus construction golems. Is the information you have about this, sorry. So you get a lunch, like, you know, you can meet up with either of those teachers at any point. When you're here as well, Alexa prompts you to have Rex that you know, like Xanth was having these doubts about staying or going, but thinks they probably will stay on campus. Prosperine Talana says that she's like around for a few days, and then she's going to return home for a few days before coming back early again. But she wants to get some things sorted on campus and kind of like not return home with, you know, everything that happened being so fresh. And Grayson messages you, Sven, basically just saying that like he's excited to see any prototypes you make, but he's going to be away until the start of term. He's got some business back home that he needs to take care of, something to do with helping his uncle out with the business. So that's all the information, everyone. kind of gets. So yeah, let's montage this. What happens over the next few days or over the time here?
I'll go first.
Cool.
So Prospering will have lunch with Plarg. And during that time, he's just gonna kind of further pick Plarg's brain, as well as inquire more into the Witherbloom College, or school. And then outside of that, he is going to be in the library, researching kind of what there is on kind of anti-magic creatures, any substances.
How frequently would you say you go there?
He's there all day.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me a perception and an investigation check, please. And when you say all day, do you mean all day every day, or do you mean just all day for one day?
All day, every day.
Okay, cool.
Except for like the time.
Except for the times he's not. Yeah.
Yeah, except for the times it's not. Yeah. I will say, just in case this does anything, I do have comprehend languages. So if there is anything there,
that is interesting.
And I do speak Abyssal and Draconic.
Okay.
And would you say investigation or perception?
I need both, please.
Oh, both. Okay. Boo.
That's still pretty good.
Yeah, do you perceive Seymour spying on you?
It's also pretty good. Okay. So we'll go with the perception first. So as you're going to the library day to day, there's only one other person that seems to appear here as frequently as you do. And it's Drajamir, who is the kind of gentle Minotaur that is one of the second years and was part of the open day, the people greeting you on open day. As you are at the library, you note that they always seem to go into one of the kind of more restricted areas of the biblioplex that isn't really open to first year students unless they get like extra special permission. With the frequency that you're both there, there begins to be this kind of like, general sort of acknowledgement of each other. And you see also, whilst you're there, that Drajamir always seems to start the day off by walking around the stacks, seems to talk to like a specific construct, one of the archivists. They're these like constructs that have, these sort of it's like the bottom half of them are what do you call it? What's that pair? I'm like thinking pagoda, but it's not at all. The segways or something, like the things that you lean forward on and it's got two wheels.
Oh,
and you
yeah,
go forward,
yeah.
that kind of thing.
Yeah, you got it.
They like have like big wheeled versions of those. Is like their bottom half effectively, and the top half is like a very slender. Can I actually show you what one looks like? That might help things here. I bet it'd be Strixhaven Archivist. Strixhaven Campus Archivist? Cogwork Archivist. They look like this.
Oh, dang.
So these spend a lot of time. These constructs spend a lot of time in the biblioplex. But you see that Drajamir like talks to one, and that often they both go to like the sort of restricted area and like seem to be deep in conversation.
Are they single?
but Drasimir always seems to either then the Cogwork Archivist will come out separate from Drasimir, or Drasimir will come out separate from the Archivist, but they never seem to leave together. And at one point, Drasimir, like, you know, as you're there at the library, will come up to you and seeing as you've been there for so long, you know that on this day, the Cogwork Archivist doesn't seem to be around, and Drasimir chooses to come up to you and kind of like stands awkwardly for a moment, like near you. You can obviously see that they are expecting to talk to you, but like they're not like approaching it. They're just sort of standing near you, and like acting as if they're looking at whatever books they are. But this is not their routine, and they don't normally, you know, come over at all.
Okay. Prospering will notice like the routine has been broken. And he'll just come just kind of ask, Drasimir, I don't see your archivist buddy today. Did something happen?
As you say this, their eyes light up for a moment, and they kind of like look around, and they say, "No, I'm not sure. I just asked the Archivist for help with getting into the restricted areas. Sorry, I'm not disturbing you, am I? I just, I wanted to look at this section for research purposes, but I thought maybe, as you said, the Archivist doesn't seem to be around today. Well, I was wondering if there's a thing I'm trying to sort out for the talent show this semester, but I'm struggling with some of it. I was wondering if, well, and you can see him like begin to like wring his hands. Don't worry about it. Actually, it's okay. Sorry to disturb you. And he begins to try and move away now.
Prospering says to him, just give me 1 second. And he like finishes writing whatever notes he was just copying from that book, and like flips the book over to save his spot.
Okay, let's focus in on that a second, actually, because I think there's a cool opportunity here. As you do this, you've just been reading a book with the investigation check. You've been specifically trying to find out information about the mage hunters of the Arik, or something else about the Arik? Was it? What specific information were you looking for?
He was specifically researching. He was looking into mage hunters, but as kind of a side note about the mage hunters was their kind of anti-magic properties. Okay. Well as what he also kind of noticed from their Arik of like his spell not doing what it should have. So I mean, it like essentially he's really like researching kind of what anti-magic there could be, like substances, creatures, items that and see if there's anything there that like corresponds to what he has experienced.
Okay, so frustratingly, and this is kind of representative of your check, and it's not that you're not any good at researching, it's like representative of like the world around you, is that in the non-restricted areas there is very little access, it seems, to stuff that mentions the Arik. Anything that is referenced in the archives about the Arik seems to be in the restricted kind of areas, and even then there are very few entries that specifically mention the Arik. Usually the things that you do have access to, however, about the Arik are mainly news articles and like some kind of like reports, not Dragon's Guard reports. Again, they're like anything kind of that ilk is again restricted, but you have access to some reports from one of the papers. Actually, this is a paper that talks about how recently there was some involvement between the Stonebiters Adventurers Guild, and it is a report from a certain 1 second because it's loading. Not there. Brasana Filbert, who you had also met at the. This is a report from Brasana Filbert, who you'd also met at the thing on a recent adventure the Stonebiter Guild went on, and it turned out that there were already mage hunters at the ruin that they were investigating, and it seemed that the Arik was sent as like a distraction whilst the place was raided. Sorry, the mage hunters seemed to be a distraction as the place was raided, and their magic seemed as there were two mage hunters together. It seems that the adventurers actually had to flee from the fight because it seemed when the two were together, like it even enhanced like just how deadly those creatures were. And it talks about like, you know, the near-death experience. It has a brief part, and this is what you're reading now. It has a brief part in this snippet as you're like looking through it, and it's like a folder you've got of these like reports talking about how generally there are like creatures that are resistant to magic and have like a natural resistance against it, and very few seem to almost absorb magic like the mage hunters do. And this is like something that Brasana poses as like, you know, maybe suggests that they're from like another plane or something. It's at this point when you're saying this that you see Drazimir's eyes flicker over to what you're reading. Do you try and are you like, as you're like kind of closing this up with your perception, you see this, do you try and like hide what you're reading and like make sure that they don't see anything, or like are you just gonna kind of like let it happen? Like what are you or would you even address what you've read? Like how do you go about seeing Drazimir obviously looking over to what you're reading about as you stop them?
How long do like his eyes linger?
As soon as
or
you
I guess
stop him,
like
as you're clearing up, like he kind of like sees that you're reading a report about something, and like he's actively trying to like catch a glimpse of what the title is saying before you like close the book, close the folder.
Gotcha. No, Prospering, he won't, like, he's not gonna like openly show what he was reading, but he will like acknowledge it. Just got done reading a interesting report on something nasty that me and the Trunk Gang encountered on our way to the Ice Palace.
I heard about that. Are you all okay?
Oh, it wasn't our worst fight, to be honest.
But you've had worse than fighting mage hunters.
Yeah. So far the mummy was the worst by far.
Mummy?
Yeah. Yep. The mummy. Yeah.
Do you show any more like about that? Like he's like actively interested. You don't need to roleplay it out, but like, would you, or would you like kind of like move on with whatever he's wanting to talk about?
Prospering would go on a not too detailed, but he would just be like, oh yeah, there was the mummy when we were investigating the ruins, and then there was like the what were they, the sprites, right? The kitchen. Yeah, and then he's like, oh yeah, we had the sprites in the kitchen, and then we fought the fought the Auric and over at the Ice Palace, and that's kind of all like the detail he gives.
Got you. Okay. Increase your relationship with Drasimir by 1, please. And yeah, Drasimir basically informs you that he is struggling to find information on a specific plant that apparently grows somewhere on the Lorehold campus.
Okay.
And he heard that you'll recently went there out of hours, and he says it's a specific plant that grows like it shows itself at night and then burrows in the daytime, and he was wondering if you could help him look around. He believes the information of it would be in the Lorehold archives itself. There's a place called the Clemmer Hall, which is a massive archive that Lorehold has about all historical things. And it's a really rare plant, but he can't find the entry to it here. And he was wondering if you'd like seen anything like that during your time. He says that it is part of Erzmatok's demonstration for the talent show, and he's he really wants to do well in the talent show because he's already gotten some pushback from other people, and he kind of wants to win to like I sort of want to show that I am good at things, and well, some people sort of just see me as quiet and stuff, and not being very nice to me, but I'm trying my best. And well, I think if I do well at the talent show, maybe it would just make them shut up for a little bit.
Prospering kind of he kind of chuckles at that, and then quickly apologizes. He's like, I apologize. I'm not laughing at you, Drasimir.
Okay.
I just didn't take you for the competitive type, and I don't plan to.
Well, some people are just so loud, and they see me as just quiet. But I mean, yeah, I'm not trying to be. I just think they need to be taken down a peg now and then.
Well, I don't plan to participate in the talent show, so at the very least, I guess I can help somebody win.
Oh, that would be good. Nice. And you can just kind of like effectively give the help action to help them find entries if you want.
Yeah, and he will ask, since Prospering is really not finding kind of what he wants in the general area, he will ask Drasimir, do you know of any way for me to get access to more of the restricted areas? The general reading here is not giving me much information.
You usually have to go through the archivist for that. I have special access because of, I sometimes work at Clemmer Hall, the archives there, so I'll have to sort of go in and out of places. Could you translate this for me? Do you know how to? Maybe you don't. And he looks at you, and there's you've seen this writing before. It's that ancient Loxodon writing that you saw in the ruins. As you're looking over like an old horticulture book about Loxodon flora.
Prospering kind of like holds out his hand and says, "May I?"
Yeah, of course.
And he, let's see here. For that,
You can just do comprehend languages if you wanted.
yeah. So as he is speaking, like, he's essentially just kind of like rambling, and he will cast comprehend languages, and he's like, "Oh, I saw this writing when we were at the ruins, and I think I can help you translate this with a little bit of magic."
Nice. And he says, "Oh yeah, I'm working on that actually myself at the moment. It's not one of the things I've got access to right now, but that's a good spell I've heard about. The archivists don't speak Loxodon or ancient Loxodon actually, so it gets a bit difficult." And he says, "About access though, I could maybe get you in. I've got, well, that Quintilius keeps on pestering me to get access to it for this stupid book he's after, but it's quite difficult. It's not an easy thing. But soon as you've helped me with this, I'll try and see what I can do. I might have to, be in there with you."
I mean, that would be fine with me, and I don't want to make a difficult task for you. I was just mainly asking.
It might actually weirdly be easier if you came with your group. Working collaboratively on projects is a bit easier to pass than just having one student look at a specific book. It seems, I don't know, they usually read it as like something for class when you do it as a group.
That is good to know. Yeah, once we've all gotten back from break, then I'll definitely contact you, and we can kind of set a date for you to meet the group, and also at that time, if you do have any other Loxodon reading that you need or text, then we do have an expert on that.
Okay, good. And then he smiles. And at this point, the archivist that he usually works with appears, and he says, "Oh, right, I've got to go. Speak to you soon." And he kind of like trundles off. He's not very good at saying goodbyes or social stuff. So that's kind of what you're up to during the period. What about the rest of you? Seymour and Aegon seem to be vibing for a moment. What is going on with that? Like, did you two make any plans or?
Less of plans and more of just like, Aegon's just generally going to walk around campus and just try to just look at things, just see things that they haven't seen before, and just pal around with Seymour wherever they want to go.
Nice. Do either of you want to go to like any specific part? If we look at the map section, you could click on anywhere, any of the campuses, and it should take you to a place. And then, is there anywhere specific that you want to go from there? Is there any NPCs that you maybe want to talk to that I can then prompt would be in like a different or new location?
Ooh. Well, I don't know about you, but I will need access to the athletic facilities, so I'm gonna go ask Greta for an extra key if you'd want to come see if they've got plans for this upcoming break.
Yeah, sure. That sounds great.
Okay, nice. I mean, Greta's nearly always either working. Well, she has a job. What's her job? 1 second.
She works on the grounds. Greta.
Sanitizes the equipment a lot of times.
Is it? I thought she did the like drama equipment though, or something. Or is it normal equipment? Current events. Students. Greta. Greta is Strixhaven Stadium Equipment Assistant. So she's nearly always at the stadium when she's not in classes, either lifting things for money or lifting things for fun. That is kind of her character.
I think isn't it if you're enemies with her, she just puts heavy things in front of your house or something?
Yeah, she puts them in front of your
It's pretty.
Yeah, your dorm rooms, or when you're like studying in one of their biblioplex like rooms, she'll like block it off and stuff. I think it's hilarious.
It's amazing.
So, and you see her there. She seems to be like, she seems actually really like frustrated, and you see she's like moving a lot of the stuff into like a corner of the room, in the gym, and has like a mop and bucket and stuff. As you enter the Strixhaven Stadium. The Strixhaven Stadium is like this huge place. If we went to... you can kind of get a glimpse of what it looks like if you go to the extracurriculars section. That background image is basically of the stadium. Obviously you're on the inside of it, in like the large gym area, and she's moving the heavy gym equipment around, all into one corner. And she calls over as you both enter, and she says, "Oh, sorry, is this her accent? I forget. Sorry, there is not much here right now. I'm just moving it all for this part of the gym is going to be closed for the holidays. If you're hoping to work out, there's a smaller gym across the way."
I didn't even know
That's
there
a
was
shame.
second
Really
floor.
was hoping to get my reps in.
Oh, but you can do that. We can spot each other later if you like. I was going for a workout myself after this, but yeah.
Oh, I don't want to take up your time. You look like you're like super busy. It's fine.
And as you say this, you see her. She goes from kind of like her, stocky but small size, and immediately increases, like twofold in each direction, and like picks up like a huge piece of gym equipment, like with all the weights on it and stuff. And it still seems to be some struggle, but it's like no singular person should be able to do this at all.
She's a shapeshifter?
No, she still looks like herself. It's just she doubles in size.
Again, like stops breathing for a second.
And she kind of grumbles and she says, now in a much deeper tone, "I've got to get this sorted for the holidays. Not many people use this space, and so I've got to clean it and put everything in one corner. But I just hate the idea of it not being used. So it's just a smaller gym until the study season resumes."
Yep, that makes sense. Yeah, really makes sense.
I heard you lot were back after a bit of trouble. I saw what happened at the Winter Palace. We had our own issues, and I'm not really sure. She says, like as she like reduces the size and puts it down. I'm not really sure what was going on. I think I was sort of, I don't know, my brain got fuddled, but I heard there was an Eureka attack afterwards, and I saw the aftermath for a bit. Are you lot all right?
We pulled out. We pulled out all right. Of our group, actually, we were the two that were the most afflicted, I guess you could say. But
Oh, you wee things. I'm sorry to hear that.
I mean, we did fine. We definitely got them to go away. I mean, the Eureka did not get what they were coming for. We definitely showed them.
I perhaps acted a bit brash.
Well, what did you do?
I ran in. I'm a little cavalier sometimes. I think I go back to the. It was like I go back to this like space, this time when I was like just very stressed out when I was a kid. I just get locked in that headspace. You know? The first time I remember feeling it was when I fell in this like pool of water with another one of the boys. And they struggled because they couldn't swim, and neither could I, but while I sank like a sack of rocks, the boy kind of splashed and struggled, and he couldn't breathe, but I didn't understand why.
Hey man, are you okay?
I just didn't. I just sat there at the bottom of the pool watching them get him.
Brett just
It was-
like stands there completely like gobsmacked.
It's like there's just something serene about it. Eventually my mother got me out, but there's a feeling of like loss or even abandonment that you can feel at those times. He like shrugs a little bit.
Do you know how to swim now?
I'm not the strongest swimmer, but I could learn to swim actually a bit more, probably.
Greta like leans forward and says, "I've actually had Lorraine teaching me a wee bit. I don't know if you know them, but they've been doing the intramural water dance and stuff. They're quite good at it. I hope they do something like that for the talent show. That will be on the row stage. So how they're going to get water there, I'm not sure. I'll happily help them lift something if they need it, like a pool or whatever. Not an entire pool, obviously, but you know, like one of those things you have in summer."
I should swing by. I've never tried. I mean, and I like to dance.
By the way,
So-
feel any of the player, feel free to have your character appear if you want to. You can have like a common lunch you're going to after this if you want to do or whatever.
Water
and
dancing sounds fun though.
And Greta will be like,
Yeah,
have you... Go on, sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I know Lorraine. I could get her to maybe introduce you to.
Oh no, as I said, she's been teaching me how to swim a bit, but it'd be nice to. Well, we could all get together and see what she's got planned for the talent show. I'd like to help her out. And she stops for a moment and seems kind of lost in thought, which you can insight check if you wish. But then she snaps out of it and she says, "Have you either got ideas for the talent show for yourselves coming up?"
Seymour?
I feel like I showed off a lot of my tricks from back home during my time in Silk Ball. So I don't really know what I would show off at this time.
Roll me an athletics check, just quickly.
Okay. Nice. That's a 2, Benj.
Womp.
Oh my god, the Thomas the Tank Engine.
What is
Why?
that?
It's
Uh,
cursed.
as you say this, like you see her visibly wince, and she's like, "Oh, I saw you playing one time. Certainly some interesting skills you've got." And basically, the athletics check represents the one time she's like actively paid attention to what you were doing. And she
Oh,
says,
no.
"If you like any pointers, I actually came here on a sports scholarship. I think maybe I could help you with a few or several things. But I've actually the talent show is nice and all, and I'll help people move things that they need there. But I'm actually more excited for what I imagine they'll be announcing soon, the Mage Tower Cup next year.
I've heard of Mage Tower.
Yeah, I've got to start practicing a bit more this year if I'm hoping to get into the school's team.
I'm sure you'll do great.
Have you ever played Mage Tower?
Maybe once or twice.
We should get a game in over the break.
Well,
Yeah, that'd be great.
I'm certainly hoping so. The prize for next year's winners is huge.
What is it?
Oh, well, if they did the same as they did last year, 1 second. They're given each player on the team will get a quarter of the fees. That's what happened last year, so it'll be 200 gold pieces each if you win.
Oh wow, that's pretty significant.
I mean,
The thing-
whether you spend it on your school fees or not is a separate thing, but I mean, 200 gold pieces for, us students is pretty good.
It's a hell of a lot. Especially for those who don't have a job.
Yeah, I don't have a job either. I never saw the point in having that much gold, to be honest.
Well, I like to put it in chests and then move the chests.
Nice clothes.
That's my favorite thing to do with that.
With gold is to move it.
That's amazing.
You should work for a bank.
I've never thought of that. That'd be right.
Yeah, they need someone to move their money safely, and it's a lot of money. So they need
Huh.
somebody who's super trustworthy.
Interesting. I like that idea. Do you know what you'll be doing after school, Egan?
Probably working hard moving farm equipment for my family's farm. That would that
You
that
move
would be
farm
it.
equipment, like
Oh
like
yeah,
what?
like a lot of hay and stuff mostly. Hay bales are heavy, by the way.
You'll have to show me sometime.
Sure, yeah, that's great. I'd love to. Yeah.
I know that nearer to the end of the year, they always have a restock on like supplies and stuff from the swamp in at Witherbloom, and moving all the supplies back to central campus is a pain in the arse, but the lifting part of it's fun.
For sure, definitely.
Maybe you can help me with
sounds
that.
Super fun. Yeah. Maybe for sure. Yeah, I could definitely probably do that.
Are you trying to hide your
My lack
attraction,
of
or
athleticism.
are you attracted to is Aegon attracted to Greta, or
Yes.
okay, are you trying to hide that, or
Yeah, just trying super hard not to be
Okay.
weird because they're just a small owl.
do me like a performance or deception check?
Oh, love that. Love that. -1 in all of those. It's gonna be so rough. Would you say performance or deception?
Yeah, if you wanna offer something else, you can, but
God. I'll do deception just because this is gonna be so ugly. Oh,
she just smiles at you, and you can both increase your relationship with her by 1.
Amazing.
It's one of those
That
times
was
you want to roll
painful.
bad.
Oh, I know. I mean,
Well, I
yeah,
want you to roll bad so that
that's
this happens.
amazing.
How does Seymour react to this?
I think he wants to. Thinks he's invisible. Actually, I don't think
Nice.
I think he leaves you privately. He gets his first
What?
casting of it.
That's so rude.
I
Also, I don't have another like slot on my relationship list.
think you can
Can I
just
just
add
add?
it.
Yeah,
Can
you
I
can
add
add
to
it.
the table?
Yeah.
I can. Oh, okay.
Oh, you
I
mean because I'm
will.
not wingman? I'm not bailing you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still here. It's like 10 foot. It's further away though.
Unbelievable. That's so rude. Just standing there all by myself,
You like look over
just
and it's just
talking
like,
to nobody.
like half a
Rick
frame.
Seymour? He's been gone for a while. Oh.
I think he went to find. I would reappear. It's fine. it's all
What's
in
the
good fun
trick
anyway.
for adding people? You just drag them, is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, awesome.
And then when you save it, it should like turn whatever horrible code it has into
Right.
normal.
Sweet. Okay.
Well, that was fun.
It's funny.
Okay. So then as
I
we
talk to what was her name for the swimming?
Lorraine.
Lorraine, yeah.
Oh, the octopus girl, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, octopus girl.
That's interesting. I thought she was all right.
Let's have a look here. So I'm like fine to fast forward to the start of term now if other people are, but like feel free
Sure.
to jump in, especially Drovrax or Seymour if there's something that you wanted. It's not Seymour, Sven. If you wanted to do something.
Sven is assisting a dog at the moment.
Nice.
I would briefly like to
Xanther?
talk to Xanther
Fuck
about
yeah.
his, yeah.
Let's do it.
I think so Drivex gets that message or asked Alexa and tells Alexa to send a message to Xanther to meet him at the cheer area where they first met.
Nice. This helps me actually because literally the first scene I was going to have would have been you two meeting up at the start of term anyway. So this is good. So Xanther meets you and says, "Hi, I'm so glad to see you. Are you okay? Have you recovered? I'm."
Hi, Xanther. I'm good. I actually didn't get hurt. But
What?
thank you for. You know me. I'm. Drivex has to play it off like I'm tough, Xanther. They can't get through this skin.
And that he just like embraces you,
I
and
hug him back.
says, "I had a horrible time. Everything's kind of
Tell me what.
getting out of control again, and I'm not sure what to do with it. And she wants to speak with
Oh.
all of you."
She, as in
Mhm.
the thing that lashed out at me that first time.
Yeah, the djinn.
Speak to us?
Well,
To like trunking? Or
to
just
you,
me?
but I think you should all go. It's well, I don't know. This is what I wanted to talk to you about.
What happened during the fight, Xanther? Just give me the
okay.
the rundown.
So, like, I was fighting and things were getting serious. I mean, as you well know.
Oh yes.
And she's supposed to. I mean, the whole. He's like really struggling to talk about this, and like you kind of see him
Xanther,
like
it's-
pause.
I do the what is the one protection of evil and good on him. It's the one
Okay.
that did the most. At least 10 minutes Yeah, we can talk with 10 minutes without
She was
her
speaking
knowing.
to me. Thank you. That she really hates when you do that, and that's I think why she wants to speak to you in part. But look, okay. So at the fight, I have these powers because they were given to me. It wasn't just I'm like naturally magic anyway, but there's this thing that affects genasi. It's like a horrible sickness some people get, and it was happening to me, and well, my family's kind of weird, and we have lots of junk, and I found this thing, and I don't know, something made me connect with it, and I sort of found myself sort of effectively wishing that I could be better and that I would be cured, and I was, and now this is happening because of it. In the fight, she wants me to be stronger and for me to increase my power, but I'm not very good at magic yet. This is why I came to Strixhaven in part to learn to control these things, but she wants me to have more and more power because the stronger I get, the more, I don't know, the better she gets or something, or the more powerful I am, the more useful I am. I'm not sure. This makes her sound really bad. I mean, she's not great, but she is helping me. Without her, I would go back to being sick. It's actually why I struggle to control the magic, because most of the time I'm using my energies to try and keep this thing at bay. It's working, but I'm not sure. Well, it just stops me having control over everything else.
No, you're losing me. She
Which
is
part?
helping you, but you still feel you have to control her?
No, I can control the magic that she's given me. And the magic that she's given me is what's keeping me alive, but she keeps on giving me more magic, especially because things are getting so hectic right now to keep me able to fight and stuff, but I can't control it. It is too much for me. But there's people that need my help, and I can't just stand there not doing anything. I mean, but then I heard Aurora once at the start, and then I heard them all again. I just keep on exploding.
Okay. Well, I understand wanting to help people. Believe me, I do. But you really, I guess, have to exercise some more restraint. I mean, we definitely needed everyone in that fight. So I get what you're saying. Gosh, that was such a bad time. I think we can figure out what she is and how to help you just control that relationship, control the magic she's giving you. Since me casting spells on you is just angering her, I don't want to do that too much. But perhaps we should meet with the group after the break when everyone's back. And have you talked with any of the deans at all? I mean, what school are you planning on going into?
I'm deciding between Prismari and Lorehold. I'm not sure yet.
Oh, I was kind of thinking the same. That's funny.
Oh.
Prismari or
Like a big smile comes over his face.
Yeah, I know Dean Clark so well, so Lorehold seems natural, but
Nasari's
Prismari
really
also
taken a shine in me. I think she kind of understands some of what I'm going through. I mean, not really. I've not spoken to her about it properly, but she's a Genasi too. Not the same type as me, of course. But, well, she knows some of my family, and She's just
Oh.
kind of made sure I'm okay here. She knows I'm struggling with my magic, but that's sort of the problem. I worry if I tell them what's going on that they'll, well,
Your family or the dean?
the dean. My family don't really know either. This is sort of a secret I've not really told anyone but you before.
Anther.
Sus.
If you're going to be, I can't speak for familiar relationships. I don't know what they're like, but when it comes to this school, if you're going to be in any of the segments of Strixhaven, they're going to need to know. If you feel like you can, because of the relationship that you have, I feel like she's the best one to trust in.
I mean, if they find out my magic came from a djinn, what does that even mean? If I could just get control of it, it wouldn't be such an issue. I mean, I'm sure, like, you get your magic from a powerful being too,
deity.
right? So, I mean, what's the difference? But,
Right.
I mean, you don't have to sort of bargain with yours, so...
Well, it's very rare
I just
for
worry
any
that they'd...
of my kind to talk to their deity, like actual words instead
I mean,
of
this is my point.
signs and symbols. But
I just worry that they'd sort of put the same kind of magic on me that you do permanently, but... And he, like, takes your hand when he says this. Now, I don't want you to... This is good what you do. It's fine for the short amount of time, but... When you block her out, you also stop her magic coming to me as well, and... I can already feel myself getting weaker. It's tiny and small. It won't affect anything for the duration, but I know if I lose the powers that she's given me, I'm gonna just get sick again.
well, we can't have that.
There is no cure for the elemental sickness. It just isn't one.
None. Not even power. There are powerful clerics in this world.
The only solution is to return to the plane that that the magic, the elemental part of me is supposed to be in, and
The plane of fire?
yeah.
So the only cure is to go back alone amongst elementals?
And
In a place that
become-
only you can survive?
I sort of would lose the human side of me. This is why I can't tell my family about it. That they're not all genasi.
Oh, I see.
It's sort of... It's like in your blood. Like, I don't know. Some type of mages have magic that just exists within them, right?
Right.
Like
Out
some
of
get it from
character,
books,
do
some get it
warlocks
from-
like not exist? Like what is the?
So like warlocks...
People not talk about warlocks?
all spellcasters are either spellcasters or mages. Like they're effectively synonymous. Like there's not like classes of
Okay.
like someone with innate magic would be a mage with innate magic, whereas someone who studies magic would be somebody who studies magic. There wouldn't be like a sorcerer or a wizard or a warlock or a cleric or this kind of stuff. Like it's I kind of want us to discuss more where the magic comes from than like put like a class name on it, because I think unfortunately class names have like such a like as soon as you say warlock, you immediately think like, oh, like pact with the devil, like dark magics, not you necessarily, but it does have like a connotation to it that just exists.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I can get that. So it's basically in this world, probably most people who, in mechanical terms, are warlocks, a lot of them are worried about people understanding, because it's like people don't talk about this. It's all very hush hush.
No, and I think generally there's been like a history of like getting magic from a god is one thing, but getting magic from somebody as like terms of bargaining, like The word
Mhm.
warlock in this world, I think, would be the classic terms of warlock. Like, you are literally an agent of some deity, and and you made a contract with that. Whilst the class that Xanth would be is warlock, it's not necessarily that, like, he has his own goals and stuff. He's not literally like a cultist agent of this entity.
Yeah, no, I got you.
Yeah.
No, I didn't think that, but I hear you saying. Okay. I think at this point, Dreverax,
I just think if maybe we
s-
can speak to her. I don't know. She just wants to
I'm-
speak to you, though. I'm not sure it's a good idea overall.
I'm okay speaking with her, but we should try to get some more information
Mhm.
before doing so. Just be the best prepared we can.
And
I did hear that you were planning to stay during the rest of the break. Is there, again out of character, actually like more Dragon's Guard, more stuff happening?
Yes, and this
around
is
the
where he
school?
wants to speak about something as well. He says, I am worried though. If we speak to her, I want to try and make sure it's at a time when maybe most people are distracted. Even before we went away, I noticed Aurora was starting to sort of follow me, and now with the Dragon's Guard around, it's going to be even harder. I'm hoping there's going to be some, I don't know, event or exam or something when maybe everyone's doing that, we can go off after
No.
it.
Stanther, I do have, I thought about this a little bit. Since we have to bide our time around here, and that awful girl, Aurora, she's not awful, but she has her reasons.
No, I get
I
it.
understand why she thinks, but she's going about it in the worst ways, and she
She
could
won't
just
even
cause
speak
more
to me.
problems.
I don't even know how to explain to her.
That's what I'm saying. We can't have people snooping around while this is happening. But I do have another option. If you came back to Ravnica with me, it's just me and my grandmother back there. And a whole house. It's not huge, but to ourselves, basically. It used to have a lot more there, and now it's just a lot of empty rooms. I was gonna go back and see her. If you wanted to tag along, we could, read some of my mother's books. She was like me. She got her power from the same deity, Eldoth, and she still works for her, in a way. That's another story. But she has a whole, trove of tomes.
Roll me a
Back-
persuasion
back
check with
home.
advantage.
Ba 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 ba. Ba da 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 da.
If you think that this is a good idea, then sure. But if anything happens, I need you to promise me you'll cast that spell again and just stop it, okay?
Of course, I'll always have them ready. And to be honest, if you're comfortable, we can talk to my grandmother about it too. She's also we all get power from the same area, same goddess.
Okay.
So it runs in the family, I should say. Though my mother was definitely it's hard. She is the most powerful.
Is
I
this
just don't
sort
get to
of...
see her very often.
So your
You
grandma
could just say
raised
she's
you?
away on work all the time. Yeah. Just me and Galena.
So
That's her name.
would I be meeting the parents, sort of thing?
Oh,
Damn.
His cheeks go a bit blushed and stuff, and
So does Trevor Axis, because he just realized that too. I guess, like, meet the parent. There's, well, I've but there's one. There's one and a half.
he like rugby tackles you, or
Oh,
tries to, and says,
yeah.
"I'm so
I am
excited!"
7.5 feet tall. Okay, great. There's a teleportation circle that ends up in a cathedral not too far away. So you can pack your stuff and we can leave tonight.
Okay. He's like jumping
Okay.
and like getting excited.
I'll see you there in a couple hours then.
Okay,
Panther.
let's do
I
it.
give him a kiss.
This is your back. And nice. I don't think you can increase your relationship points anymore. I think you're at max, right?
Sure can't. If I wasn't at, what is it, the max 6 right now?
Yeah.
Gotta open that worksheet.
Let's have a look.
Cheese and crackers.
my
That's so many.
Where are the worksheet?
Yeah, I think the max is 6.
Worksheet. Santher 6. Yeah, I'm
Tapped
maxed out.
out. You cannot be more in love than in love. Nice. So that's that sorted. Sven, did you want to like role play with any NPC or anything, or do you just want to like maybe have like a roll to see progress with these prototype things and kind of like what we can glean from that for in preparation for showcasing them at the talent show?
I would just like to make some stuff.
Yeah, sweet.
I don't really. Yeah. So, my goal is to make prototype minis for perhaps for the rest of Trunk Gang.
Nice.
Yeah, so what I would like to do is craft small figurines that have like movable joints
Mm-hmm.
and
Oh my god, movable joints, damn.
and when you touch them and speak the
Fun
name of
word.
a specific, they will emit a little effect that mimics the type of spellcasting that
Okay.
they use.
So let's go for this, right? There's going to be like this. You can do this, but I want you to roll for it because I want to see how like long and complex these kinds of things takes, and like each degree that you get, each like 5 above, I think like 12, will basically convey how like each stage is. So making the models and making like them in the likeness of the person would be like a 12, like a 17 would be like the movable parts, and then the 22 would be actually I'll probably reverse that. The 17 will probably be the effect, and then the 22 would probably be the movable parts for it.
Okay,
I imagine the movable parts would be the most difficult because like obviously on scale, like anything that small with movable parts is just
Right.
going to be more fragile.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You'll be able to make these. It's not like whether you can do it or not. It's about the like ability to like reproduce them and getting the skill down. And so in part for like when you take orders for, you know, the stuff that rose stage, like what kind of like thing you're able to offer like on a grand scale, this is going to give us some insight into that, or like what you need to work on for it, that kind of thing. So you'll be able to do these no matter what. It's just it kind of gives us an idea of like how feasible this is effectively.
Okay.
Has this be like your tinkerer's tools or something, with intelligence. Nice shit. Well, there you go then. So you definitely could do these. It actually works out that these are pretty easy. Definitely the hardest part is the movable parts. With just hitting the 22, effectively, you think you could produce these. By far, the way that you could get them out more would be taking away the movable part bit because they are so fragile. But it would also be an option for you to have like maybe like you realize maybe like a premium version of this where they do have movable parts, infusing them with your magic and keeping it permanent. That requires special materials to have them like have the little effect. The actual making of the effect is relatively easy, but again it like adds cost to like infuse it with a certain precious sort of stone or something that like is able to continuously emit this effect. What is this? Actually, hold on, let me have a look at the spell. Okay, so like, it's ruby dust that the model is infused with that will like allow you to keep this effect kind of going whenever you make the command word. And you figure with the roll that you've had about 50 gold pieces is what would be required to have this, like on a batch of these things, not each model, but like on a good batch of these, like say like I don't know 10 models or something.
Okay.
So it ends up being like 5 gold piece, a model for each of the things. Yeah, I think that's the kind of like information you get from these prototypes and stuff.
Nice.
And yeah, I think that puts you in good stead for what you want to do after. But like these would be really successful. Had you not rolled so high, it would have been like higher costs. The mini parts would have been like really bespoke pieces and not something that you could produce like not even at like a higher tier thing like regularly without it just having a high failure chance, that kind of thing. So
and I would like to remind you that this actually defaulted to Dex, and using int it would actually have been a roll of 23.
Oh, sick, cool.
But yeah, I mean the important thing is that I can make the rolls when I need them.
Yeah, there you go. It's working.
And that's
that definitely always happens for you, so I'm really glad.
Yeah, this is
Nice.
This is gonna make me a huge amount of gold, and steel wins battles, but gold wins wars.
Yes, God. Slay boots, house down. Stunning. Was there anything else you wanted to do with this?
Nope.
Sweet.
Although, since I did make is it okay? Did I make a set of like everybody?
Absolutely, yeah. Yep. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So then I'll figure out. Well, if anybody wants to like suggest what their like a small effect, so it could be like a sound or like a small amount of light or something like that, or a combination of the two, or is that okay as like an effect?
Like I even saw recently one thing that it made me think of was there was they had like these QR codes and like on pieces of square paper, and you put your phone over it and it makes the model like appear out of the square, and then like when you do like a certain attack, you can press a button on your phone and the like model activates like an actual like it's like a tabletop app thing. I kind of imagine that like the model itself doesn't move, but like an image of the model like attacking or whatever kind of like comes out of it or something. Like it's like a static image for a moment. It just like switches to do the move or the position and then goes back to
cool.
yeah.
So if anybody wants to suggest what their character would do as like a really small effect, like what's
like that.
what's the essence of your character?
How about what we'll do is how about we take a break because we've not done that yet, and during the break, if you'll want to like discuss that or put it in the chat or message it or anything, then we can do that there. Then this is maybe a good point for us to like take a break for a bit. We'll come back at 1:45, and then we'll be back at the start of term if that's cool.
Okay.
Nice. Right, be back at 1:45. Hello.
Nice radishes.
Right? We got radishes, we got Swiss chard, and then I'm also now the proud mom of an olive tree that I've called them Olive.
Original. It's beautiful.
Thank you. I'm now a tree parent. I kind of want another one as well because I've got like a 10% off voucher and it was only 30 quid and they're quite big. Like I won't be producing olives anytime soon, but you know, in the years to come. Nice to get some olives. We've got potatoes growing and carrots and Brussels sprouts and pumpkins and courgettes. Or I think you call them, in Spanish it's calabacin. I think aubergine is eggplant. No. Oh, you call them zucchini, I think. The green squash. Green long squash. Looks like a cucumber, but it's not.
That is zucchini.
Yeah, zucchini?
Yeah, we call that courgette. And it's one of my favorite words in Spanish, which is calabacin. I don't know why it's my favorite word. It just sounds nice. It also reminds me of like Caliban from The Tempest. A Shakespeare play.
Oh yeah, we don't know. Yeah, nobody reads that here.
Well, I didn't want to like assume, so that's why I said I wasn't trying to be like a Shakespeare play. I was just being like, you know, maybe people don't know The Tempest. Also, you're all American. Sorry. Okay, I found out as well that you don't know what bunting is, and you call them garlands, and you're like, a garland is like a flower thing over here. So like, but you'll just call like everything a fucking garland. Like those flags on a string, a garland. Like wearing a crown of flowers, a garland. Like,
did you say flags on a string?
Yeah, the little triangles on a string.
The fuck are you talking about?
Bunting.
A bunting is a small bird.
A bunting. I mean, it might be, but that's not what I mean when I say bunting.
I've heard of that.
I mean, like wreaths and garland is mostly used for like Christmas decoration. Garland is where it's most commonly used.
Oh, you'll call like baubles ornaments. I'm like, ornaments go on the mantelpiece. They're like statues and shit.
No, ornaments are the baubles.
What's the thing that goes like on the mantelpiece then? Wait, maybe you don't know what a mantelpiece is. Okay.
I know what
We
know what a
fireplaces.
mantle is for sure, yeah.
Okay.
But it's a fireplace.
Also, I don't know about anybody else here, but like, I don't live in my grandmother's house, so I don't have baubles on the mantle.
Yeah, see that what Spirit just posted? That's like garland with ornaments.
No, that's shit. What would we call that? That's like, I don't know what we'd call that. We wouldn't call that garlands. We'd call that like,
You would call it garland.
You would. That's what
we
it
call it
is.
like tree stuff
A
with
salad.
bubbles. I don't know.
Tree stuff.
We won't call it tree stuff. There's probably a word for
Oh,
it.
technical.
Well, I guess
Now, who doesn't have words for things?
I'd probably like to call that a wreath, even though it's not, because a wreath is circular. But
Right. It's more wreath than it is garland, but it's more garland than it is wreath, depending on how it's
Yeah.
placed.
but like can you
Think of the
understand
salad.
my shock at the flags on the string being called a garland?
Yeah, I
Instead
don't
of
know what
bunting.
we call that.
I wouldn't take. I would not
No,
think.
I've
shoot
never
to it.
heard anybody call something like that a garland.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't think we call it garland here. I
Those-
just
That's
don't
what
know
Google told me.
what it's called.
oh yeah, totally. Trust whoever Giggle is.
Google.
Oh, Google. Wow, even more trustworthy.
I also thought he said giggle, so
Yeah, I totally
Giggle
thought
and
I
I
heard
type.
Giggle.
Your radish leaves are actually
No,
dope.
Yeah, they're really cute. I think they're poisonous though. Don't eat them.
Wait, what?
Ben spits it out.
No, you're being serious.
No, I have no idea. I would look it up though, because I don't know.
I just read a thing that said they're edible, but now radish leaves are an edible leafy green. Okay. Don't do this to
Did
me.
Giggle
'Cause,
tell
like,
you
there's
that?
literally no, but
That's
hold
so
on,
funny.
Stop! Wow! Oh my god, the shade did Giggle tell me that. Fuck off. You are now level 3.
No, I still roll better though.
You do, yeah.
It's fine.
No, I like. Okay, so this is D&D is therapy and everything. I was like upstairs and I was like freaking out because I'm like, I'm really proud that I've grown some vegetables for the second year and stuff, and I really want to eat these. But unfortunately, my fiber came from eating lettuce from a hamburger in Mexico,
Oh
and then not
no.
getting like properly like the medicine I needed and stuff for the typhoid fever I got, which is like salmonella on like steroids, basically.
Yeah.
And so like every single, and I've washed the leaves. Like, what else are you supposed to do to vegetables apart from like wash them under cold water? Like, and I've put them in the fridge for like 6 hours now.
They make vegetable washes.
I mean, yeah, okay, I could do that.
And
or,
you can
like,
also
iodine
do
or
a
something, but-
vinegar, like you
But-
can also do a vinegar and water mixture to wash them.
Also, if there haven't been any human feces like in your garden, then you don't have to worry about any of this.
I mean,
Right.
there's been cat
That's also
feces,
true.
probably.
Well, yeah, then you might want to wash it.
That's why I was like washing it. But like, we put loads of sticks in there to stop them doing that. But I just don't. I don't know. The cats are like I haven't seen anything whilst I was harvesting them around it, but
Yeah, I would just like soak them in a vinegar water mixture. It'll probably get rid of some bugs too.
well, it's too late now because I've already made the salad and I'm eating it. But I
Well.
will do that for next time.
Okay. Or yeah, just go like they make vegetable washes that you can probably find in a grocery store or whatever you call them.
Garlands.
Garlands, correct.
Garland store.
At your local Garland store, you'll be able to find a vegetable wash.
What were people's models like?
Mine is just a little bird that flaps. Flaps its
cute.
wings.
I actually kind of imagine some of the effects of like what our tokens do when we use a spell or like an attack or something. Like, the little fist that comes out from Aegon. I was imagining that kind of thing would happen.
Or like little arms. Little
Yeah.
arms come out.
Oh, that's cute.
Little spectral arms.
I like that. What about Seymour?
Seymour's definitely like audiates a small like it's like a small tune, no more than like a few seconds.
Okay.
So he tries to like incorporate like a small like music box component to it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. It's like super simple.
Anyone else got anything? Fair. Well, do we think that the session so far is holding up to the ideals we discussed at the start? The meaningful, pleasant thing. Are we all good with that? Any concerns?
Incredibly concerned, Benji. No, I love roleplay. I'm good.
Sweet. Well, the holidays pass and you return to term time at Strixhaven. As you're all there getting ready to start the next semester, a few things happen. Upon returning to the dorms, Alexa has mail for you yet again. First off, there's a notification from the university that the Dragon's Guard... I need actually special music for this. The Dragon Guard have an increased presence at the university now. You're told that this should not affect classes and students are asked to carry on as normal. But already you note that rules are being enforced even more. The campus security that was made up of teachers and students before now seems to have like a Dragon's Guard representative with them as well at all times. And it just basically seems that the Dragon's Guard really have like all of a sudden gotten a huge presence at Strixhaven. And again, this is not necessarily abnormal there. There probably were Dragon's Guard now and then in the first term, seeing as Strixhaven is literally where the Dragon's Guard are like handpicked from. Like if you want to be a Dragon's Guard, then you would be, you know, probably have gone to Strixhaven more often than not. But yeah, definitely there are kind of like more restrictions on where you can go at certain times. There's not like a hard curfew kind of thing, but as in, you know, Dapperwing Manor, for example, is like has like now a permanent Dragon's Guard sitting outside of it at night time. The other thing, go on, sorry, what?
I was just saying, okay, like that makes sense.
And then the other thing that you've got is, and I mean, yeah, I wonder how Trump Gang feels about this actually, because you were all calling for higher security and stuff. So like, how does this feel to you lot?
Good, but more concerning, I would say. Like the fact that it's for something that has nothing to do with kind of our initial concerns of why we wanted more security at Strixhaven. Because we wanted, you know, less mimic essence just like roaming around the school so we could study better. But now it's like this security / like military presence almost is much more concerning because it's of a bigger, like much scarier issue.
Yeah, I think we are fairly anti-Dragon's Guard here. Dravrax has no love for them. That's for certain. He's been told by Plarg enough to shut up about that in public. So.
Breaking the peace cleric is usually not a good sign.
Dear.
And then you also receive a thank you from Winona Bergen Alpine, complete with loot. They convey that they are still searching for the other half of the pendant, but at least with the current half that they have, their business is safe and is reopened without further trouble. The loot that they send you is the following. I think this works. Does that pop up for people?
Yeah.
Okay, so you get to share 490 gold pieces, 700 silver pieces, 2,500 copper pieces, a +1 hooked short spear, walloping ammunition, so 10 of those, a scimitar, a moon touch scimitar specifically, a mystery key, a periapts of health, 2 elixirs of health, 4 potions of healing, and a horn of silent alarm.
All right. Well, I see everything. I see like the golds and stuffs. I see the 2 weapons, and then after that, I don't see anything.
Same.
Yeah, same.
What?
I see 2x and 4x underneath the 2 weapons.
I posted it.
Yep, that's what I see exactly.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
We lost you like if I got 4 potions of healing, 2 of something. But that's what we are looking at.
Hold on.
If you can just screenshot what you're seeing and post it, that'll probably do for short term.
Trying to see, if I do this, does that change the list at all?
No. Now we just see mystery key.
Right.
Oh, that's cool though. Mystery key has a 5% chance. That's pretty low.
1 in 20, yeah.
But it's any lock.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Was this a shared loot?
Mm-hmm.
Ah. Let me not click add all to sheet. Oops.
So even when you go back on the loot thing, because it should be in your journal entries and then in the folder loot, can you still not see?
Nope.
Like even if you close it and reopen it?
Correct.
What the fuck? That's so weird. Well, I've tried nothing and I'm entirely out of ideas, so. Well, I was trying to make it easier by having the things, but okay, for now I'll just do this. And if you'll want something from it, you can probably add it to your sheet where you normally add items, so it might be worth working out who has what and stuff. But we can do that maybe another time. I've updated it now to just be the names. Hopefully you can see those things then. Anyway, moving on from that.
Now I can see him, yeah. He looks appealing. Potion appealing.
So moving on from that.
Horn of Silent Alarm.
It's really good, that one.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
Then you get the notice that the Mage Tower games are happening in the final term, but the Interscholastic Cup is to be held next year. So it'll be a good time to try out some Mage Tower games in the last term if you're interested in entering the bigger competition. The prize for next year's competition is actually 400 gold pieces each, not 200, as it had such a good turnout last year that they want to do even better this year, and so the price is double what Xantha told you.
I'm sorry, price for what?
The prize for
Oh, prize.
Mhm.
Never mind. Very good.
and yeah, you've still got the and that's basically the messages you get at the start of term. And generally life on campus goes by pretty normally.
It
You go
feels
to-
weird just to go back to normal.
Yeah, you as you kind of like spend time on campus, you note that there doesn't seem to be like, there's the general magical mishaps and stuff now and then, but it doesn't seem to like similar things to what happened to Nora, where like their practical exams that they're trying to hand in, go awry and stuff, go a bit bad, but general life on campus sort of seems to return to normal, even with the presence of the Dragon's Guard. There's still that thing in the dorm with the spiders and the webs happening now and then, but our Alexa at least seems to be playing up a bit less, and your studies are just as hard as they were before, and yeah, the NPCs kind of like interact with you as normal. One thing that is on all the NPCs' minds is the talent show coming up, and what everyone's going to do for that. That seems to be like the main point of conversation as you kind of go through the term, and it's sort of in the last third of the term that it begins happening in. In fact, as you're about a week out from the talent show, after a good amount of time has passed. You find yourselves all in the dorm room, and actually no, you find yourselves all in. Yeah, let's go to that. We've not done that in a while. There's probably something on the map that shouldn't be, so just don't freak out a second. Yeah, we've not. As you all hang out in File, getting some drinks or something before one of your classes, there's a few other NPCs there with you, and they're kind of like, you're just getting some drinks and stuff, and this is going to be the Regina's plus Xantha, and they ask you, what your group is thinking of doing for the talent show competition, if you're doing something as a group or if you're doing anything individual.
Sven says, I've been working on these little, well, I can't exactly say what they're for, but I think they speak for themselves. And Sven reaches into his pockets and starts pulling out the minis of Trunk Gang.
Lorene immediately surges forward and looks fascinated at them, and she says, "Oh my god, they're so small. Look at their little faces. They look exactly like all of you."
I think I am proud of them.
You should be. They're fantastic.
Most of them are much smaller than the real subjects, with the exception of Aogen. That's a very different scale.
Hey.
I like that. That's the thing your character is gets a hang up on.
It's like the data, the numbers. It's an interesting thing if you only think about math all day.
Mm-hmm.
You have. Hold on, who is that? Mina steps forward. Well, actually, Mina's working at the Fire Art Cafe, so Mina's in the Fire Art Cafe. And as she's serving us one of the drinks or something, she leans over and says, "These are really cool, Sven. I wouldn't mind getting some. Maybe we can feature these in the paper or something."
I would be open to that. I think that perhaps you haven't even seen the best part of these yet. And Sven proceeds to tap Aogen's mini, and there's a still image of flapping, and as it goes back and forth between flapping and regular, it looks as if Aogen's mini is flapping their wings.
Nice, that's cool. Yeah, from the roll that you got before, everyone's really impressed by these. I think the only one who doesn't seem to be completely wowed by these would probably be hold on. No. No, they all are. Yeah, because they were. Actually, Rubina looks really impressed by the Aegon one, and says, "That looks exactly like you. This is amazing. Did you design this with Sven, or is this just
No, Sven did that all on his own. They're really cool though, aren't
Damn. Yeah, Is this so? Wait, if you didn't work on this together, what are you doing for the talent show?
I'm gonna try to find a way to work backstage so I don't have to perform in any capacity.
And then Nora says, "Oh, I'm working backstage too. We can do that together if you want. But I mean, you're pretty talented, all of you. You've all managed to do so much in your first term at Strixhaven."
Again, are you trying to get out of modeling for me again? I simply won't have it.
So Nora, when can I start helping you?
I simply will not have it.
Hurry before Dravax eats me.
Dravax, if you think that you can make your garments much smaller, I might have a solution for you.
Oh my gosh, that is so cute. Little outfits for the
Oh.
models.
What an interesting proposition, Sven. I would love to help you with that. Ooh, that's so fun.
You don't have to do that.
Dravax takes out his hand loom, starts knitting right
Oh
there.
my god.
Hand
He's crocheting and looming away with some
Amazing.
tea in his hand, in his trunk.
Oh my gosh, you actually can. That's amazing.
I know. I love Loxodon.
Why would you drink tea with your nose? That's crazy. Because you can.
It's a Thai iced
As you
tea.
can.
All right, let's
Do you know humans are weird that they're like, where they swallow and where they breathe is kind of like the same place? Isn't that
We
fascinating?
don't even have a cloaca.
help.
Help.
Cursed. Oh,
Oh, what a small meow.
hi,
That
son.
is a small man's.
He's a baby boy.
And Sven reaches into another pocket and pulls out a tiny miniature of Dravarax. And tilts the trunk up and taps it, and perhaps like some soothing white noise and like a soft green aura come out of
Cute.
Dravarax.
Thought it was gonna be Trunk Gang. Pew, 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 pew.
Meow, 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 meow. If that's what you want.
As
then
you do
I've got-
this, Aurora moves past and says, "Oh, you've really made some people look much better in the models." And she like goes to leave the cafe.
We'll miss you.
I believe that to be statistically inaccurate. These are all similarly accurate models of their respective full-size Trunk Gang members.
Unfortunately, she's well out the door by the time you're saying this.
I'm just like saying it to
Mhm.
myself.
Like it was like shade to Dravarax, but actually to Sven it might be like, wait, these are accurate there, and like actually like more of an insult to Sven than it would be to Dravarax.
Well,
As this is going on, Talana, Xanther starts pulling Dravarax away for a moment while Talana asks Prospering a question. What are you doing for the talent show?
Oh, me?
No, this is
Oh.
Talana to. I can't. There's 18 different NPCs. Some of them got to share a voice type.
Sorry, I heard Dravarex being pulled away.
You
My
are by
bad.
Xanther, but like meanwhile that's
Oh.
happening.
Sorry.
Talana's talking to Prospering. What are you doing for talent show?
I am helping somebody win.
Oh, but I didn't even tell you what I was doing for the talent show yet.
Unfortunately,
She has like a mischievous smile.
it's not going to be your win.
Ah, well then I think you're gonna be quite disappointed. Who are you helping win though? Might as well know who my competition is.
It will be the most unsuspecting person you could think of.
She like
But-
narrows her eyes at you.
If you do somehow win against my better expertise, then I will treat you to something of your liking.
She like looks at you plainly, and she says, "You can do better than that. Come on."
Panic.
What's to my liking, Seymour? I mean, Prosperine. Sorry, Jesus.
It's alright, we're on the same athletics team.
Anything you wish?
She then looks to Seymour and she says, "Is your friend always this meat-headed?"
I think he's doing quite well.
She rolls her eyes and she
Seymour.
says, "Well, if that's all you want, Prosperine, sure. If that's all I get."
Prosperine looks around nervously.
Trying to get you to ask her out.
Yeah, Seymour like looks at you expectantly.
You all assume Prosperine has ever talked or been on a date.
Well, we're all getting a very clear picture now, I think.
Now I am. Holy shit. Are you serious? I'm like
Aegon
a court.
hasn't
I'm like a.
either, but they kind of see what's going on here.
You guys. Oh, it's.
Seymour,
This
Aegon,
is
are you
all
still-
Seymour does is just dance and date. That's all he do.
Seymour and Aegon, are you still on for the swimming lesson later with Greta? I've got the pool booked for us.
Yep. Yeah, we're definitely doing that, aren't we, bud? You're definitely coming with me. You said you wanted to real bad. So, yep,
Yes,
that's what we're doing.
It's going to be the first time I've been able to wear my swim uniform of Strixhaven, so.
You have a swim uniform?
You didn't get one?
Oh.
You should go ask Plog for one, see if he can get you one.
Do they make one this small?
I sure hope so.
Prosperine, can you swim? Talana asks.
I can sink.
Then that settles it. If I win,
Two of us.
you have to host a pool party for us all.
Prosperine pool party.
I mean, I can do that either way.
You can host it either way. You can be the center of attention in front of everybody in a pool party when you don't know how to swim.
The host
would
just
make a good
has to
lifeguard.
mingle.
Oh no, I want a master of ceremonies from you. That's what I want if I win.
I'm sure I can make that happen. I think my family has some sort of pool house or summer vacation home near here.
Talana smiles at the rest of your group and she says, "Sounds like we're finally finding out what Prosperine's limits are."
Oh no.
Yeah, we just didn't know it would be a social gallivants.
Now she's challenged him openly.
Mm-hmm. As that's happening, Drovax, you've been taken to one side, and Xantha says to you, now, so this is like going to be I'm going to say this is the day before the talent show currently, so we'll just vibe with that if that's all right with everyone.
Have I been able to prepare all of my outfits for weeks?
Yes, don't worry, we're going to come
Okay,
into the downtime stuff in a second.
And then Dravrax and Eric both start sweating. It's tomorrow?
Xantha takes you to one side and says, I've thought of it. After the talent show, oh, well, a few things I wanted to talk to you about, actually. And he would have been talking about this for a while, kind of with your group. And he says, you heard about the Mage Tower thing, right? The intermural one? Or the interscholastic one?
Competition?
Yeah,
Right?
with the big prize money next year.
Draverax
Right.
competition? Never heard of it.
We'll be cheering for that, won't we?
No, I want to take part. But there's
Take part?
yeah, I tried to tell you about this last time, but we ran out of time. Look, they're meeting tomorrow after the exam, to play a kind of combination of beholders and behears, the role playing society with like a mage squad variant. It should be quite fun. I was hoping to go to that to celebrate. I was wondering if the Trunk Gang was maybe going. Actually, we'll have this week before. Maybe not tomorrow. This is still a week to go. Actually, sorry to change times again.
Right. I'm sure the Trunk Gang could be in attendance.
Well, we got a week to work it out, but the other thing I wanted to talk about was maybe afterwards. I know they're having a big celebration at Bow's End Tavern after the talent show. I'm sure you want to go to that, but I thought maybe that would be a good opportunity for us to speak to her. No one's going to be at the stadium at that time.
I see. Okay. Yeah. Let's do it.
Okay. And
You're still gonna sorry, did you have something you were doing tomorrow yourself?
oh well, we got
For the town show? You're still
Oh, right. Well, we got the exam in the morning, and then the Beholders and Behears game, and I was just gonna maybe do some gymnastics or something, but I mean, it's a bit of a shame to do it on my own. Did you need a model or something? I heard Aegon's backing out.
I guess my Owlin Star wants to work
I mean, I'm pretty small, but I'm
with
not
the
that
stage.
small.
Hey,
I'm sure we could refit it to a kind of summer flame theme.
Is a week enough time to rework it?
I mean,
Summer
who
Flame?
needs sleep?
Huh. Not you. I need my beauty sleep, but you don't.
Narrows eyes.
Okay, so we've got the exam in the morning, then this, I do want to do the Mage Tower game, even if you just want to come watch. I'd really like to, but I hope everyone participates. That would be
Yes.
super fun. And then the talent show, and then after that we can get everyone together. Do you think? Do you think you could ask them to go to the stadium?
I'll ask them tonight. And I'm sure they'll agree.
Do you want me there, or do you think it's better if you just ask them? Or
Let's not give her any more ammo than she already has.
he nods. That's a good idea. Okay.
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 I'll see you tomorrow, then.
Okay. And he smiles and gives you a peck. And then, oh, I'm late. And then has to run off.
Bye.
Okay. And then, like, just generally whilst around campus, like, people are talking about the Beholders and Behears game in a week time, the upcoming exam, the talent show. At some point, I think Sven Quintilius whilst you're working with Grayson, Quintilius like approaches you, Sven, and says, and maybe the rest of you around as well, and says, gotten any further with getting that book for me? It's the talent show's approaching soon, and I really could do for it by then.
Me?
Yeah.
What? Book?
I explained this before, and Quintilius is like rolling his eyes.
Bruh, I tried to get you a book.
You did? What happened?
Library's pretty
actually-
restricted,
Yeah.
turns out.
Did
And the guy who's got the book is not very friendly.
Correct. I was told I would have to return with the rest of my team to gain access.
Shocking. Drazimir's not friendly. Who knew? Wow. What news? Quintilius rolls his eyes.
You think he's,
Sorry,
just
I didn't mean to
quiet.
come off. I didn't mean to come off so aggressive, but I did try, so it was a little annoying.
Yeah.
Look, I really want to do the piece justice. It's a piece from an ancient Loxodon poet called Daisy. She grew up during the ancient times, and it was a poem about...
Wait, Daisy?
Yes, Daisy.
She... Interesting. Okay.
She was a young Loxodon sorcerer, and... Well, it's amazing. Magic back then was truly wild. But I can't quite decipher the last piece. It's not in ancient Loxodon, it's in her own sort of cipher, and the book I need is in the restricted part of the library, and, well, I don't have any contacts, but I'm sure Trunk Gang does, so I was hoping you could help me.
You have this written down anywhere by any chance?
The part I
The
can't...
piece that you... Yeah, the piece that you can't read.
Quintilius looks you up and down for a moment and says, sure.
Is he lying?
No, I mean, with your... He's like, has his brow furrowed at you, because he's like sort of trying to work out why you're asking. You get the impression.
Ah, okay. Well, can I see it? I mean...
Sure, fine. And he like flicks his wrist and the book just appears in his hand.
Well, that was weird. Okay.
A bit of magic I've been working on. I like the flair of the dramatic,
Maybe you could use that for the talent show instead.
Oh, come on. That's so dull.
Well, I thought it was cool. But just give me the book.
And he doesn't give it you, but he like shows you the passage.
Ooh.
And when you're looking at this book, you immediately see that there is a bit more history to a character you already knew before that you're able to glean from these pages. And I need to open a PDF to get it, so give me a hot second. Actually, as you he lets you turn some pages as well. As you're doing this, go ahead and roll me an investigation or a history check, and from that I'll tell you what kind of information you get.
Oof. Not much.
Yeah, meow meow.
Okay, so this is about apparently a sorcerer known as Daisy Saval, and where is this information? Shit. Oh, okay. She ended up becoming known as the Child Prophet, and was apparently she had been gifted with prophecy, and this passage seems to be about some kind of prophecy that she was telling. She was like hoping to reveal to people, but she got cursed by her enemies, it says like vaguely, so that she could only tell its secrets in a language no other person understood.
Interesting.
It's quite the tragic history if you get into it.
Yeah. And does the passage contain like the script of language that is unreadable?
Yeah. And then he like shows you a slip of paper which shows like exactly where in the library, in the bibliotech, like restricted area, you'd find the piece that he needs, the book that he needs.
I want to take notes of both the passage and where it's at.
Okay.
Well, I can't promise that we can get it to you, but I mean, at least now we know a little bit more of what we're looking for, so maybe there's somewhere else that we can find it, but I don't know if you're going to have it in time for the talent show, though.
Well, you have a week. I'm sure you can work out something.
Well, you could try too. Jeez.
That Dresden is horrible to me, though.
Well,
I've been
maybe
nothing
you
but
should
sweet
be
to
nicer.
him. I'm lovely. I don't know what you mean.
Well, I don't know, but if you won't give it to you, maybe there's something going on there. But I'll see what I can do. Just give it to me.
Oh, hard to get, you think? Okay.
You
know,
can hear
shove this
Dravarex rolling his eyes.
Nice. Yeah, you have that information. And do you like sharing with the rest of the group? I mean, you kind of were all there. Does Prosperine have anything to say about this?
Oh, I didn't think Prosperine was with. I didn't know it was everybody.
Well, you can return to. I mean, that's that scene. Unless you wanted anything else from Aegon.
I mean, unless anybody else was like intentionally listening, Aegon's not going to share it yet.
What are you hoping to do with the information?
Because they know who Daisy is,
Mhm.
they want to discern what this information is before they give it to someone else and make sure it doesn't fall into the wrong hands because they feel like there was a connection to Daisy in there.
Got you.
So
You probably will return to Dorm at some point. Would you share it with the rest of the group then, or are you like hoping to do your own investigations?
I'll probably investigate first and then
Okay.
bring in anybody else. I don't want to get anybody else in trouble yet.
How are you investigating
Hoping to sneak into the restricted
it?
section
My days.
to just sneak a peek
Cool.
because I'm so small.
So with increased Dragon's Guard security and everything else going on,
Just gonna try, not making it super obvious, but just like walking around and seeing if I can like slip into a crack. I mean, I'm a tiny bird. No one will know.
okay, go ahead and roll me a
Right now?
stealth check. Yep.
Let's say you want to borrow my cloak before you head out.
Will it fit?
It's a magic item.
I mean, if you're willing to give it to me. I mean, if you want to be involved in this.
I mean, you
It
wouldn't
hangs-
need-
it
wouldn't you need to
hangs,
tell somebody about this before you go.
It hangs on our
This
coat
is
hook in
yeah, this
our
is
dorm.
true.
And over the break, I
Uh,
assume we exchanged it a few times.
Okay, that's fair. With that, I guess I won't tell Seymour, but if I see the
feel
cloak
free.
available, I'll take it.
Nice.
Okay.
Do you take the
sweet.
mystery key?
No, who has that? Somebody else has that, I think. Somebody else took it.
You probably just got some like dorm loot.
Yeah, I would.
I
say
like the
it's
idea of team loot.
available. Yeah.
So maybe I just shove it in my pocket and just wait. I don't know if I'll, and I don't anticipate using it, but if this book for some reason has a key on it.
No, you
Has
plonk
a-
it. Like
has a
if
lock
it's a
on it.
restricted area, there might be a lock.
Oh, that's
on the
fair.
lock.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I was thinking like a
There could
locked
be-
book or some
Wait,
shit.
are there books with locks on them though?
There are.
Yeah.
Let's see. So I wasn't totally daft.
No, I know, but that was still quite funny.
Okay. Am I making this stealth check? Do I have advantage with this cloak or anything?
Sure.
Sure. Awesome.
You do.
Especially because you said daft.
Yes.
Okay, so you actually managed to make it to the part of the library that is restricted. Unfortunately for you, whilst you go undetected to there, there is some magic that immediately alerts not any of the guards, not anyone else, but as soon as you enter into this like private kind of room, you hear immediately, you've made no noise, you're certain you're not seen, but you hear a familiar voice that says, who's there? I'll put a spell on the door. Is that you? Ark, are you there? And you hear like, kind of like the heavy shuffling of quite a large figure moving toward you.
I'm gonna duck out or like under a shelf or something.
Okay. You go to duck under a shelf and you see Drasimir appears looking around, and has a book in his hands and is trying to like kind of work out what just happened.
Can I see what the book is?
Sure, go ahead and roll me a perception check.
Oh God.
Unfortunately, it just so happens to be the exact book that you're after.
Ugh.
The success or failure was basically that. If it was a
That's- yeah,
success, it would be
fair.
elsewhere. If it was a failure, he's got it.
Of course. Okay, that's fair. Ugh. Okay. Well, I will duck back out and then seek. I don't know, because I don't have any relationship with Drasimir at all, I think. Does he hate anybody that I like?
He likes someone that you like, hopefully.
Hopefully. Okay.
You'd have seen him chatting to Prosperi now and then, since the start of the new term.
Okay. I'm gonna note that. I'm gonna note that that's what he's looking at, since I failed to have it anywhere else. And then I will see about employing Prospering in this, but I will duck out of here before
Yeah, fair enough.
somebody else tries to find me.
Okie smokes. Is there anything anybody wants to do? Does Dravrax tell the group about anything going on? Does Aegon? Does like you can have any information you want? Anyone want to ask me anything?
What does the passage say?
Yeah, nice. Good try.
I'll relay the information just really quickly to Prospering and see if it piques his interest. And based on like what we saw, I know he was interested in the ruins and things and finding that connection back to Daisy, since I have that, seeing if they're interested in that at all.
I mean, I can probably read that passage for you.
Oh, you can? That would be sick. But yeah, I mean, if I don't want to involve you in anything if you don't want to get involved, but it involved Daisy and having it be, what's that guy's name? I don't even remember. But he's just so smug, and I don't want anything to happen that, like, Daisy's words or something get mistranslated and a whole bunch of bad magic comes out.
Now, does Prospering know that Quintilius doesn't like Drasimir?
Yeah, it was discussed the last time. And I mean, Drasimir was also telling you how Quintilius keeps on, like, the reason he wants to win is to beat Quintilius. There's absolutely a rivalry going on there.
Okay, 1 second. Okay. So he will go ahead. And yeah, he'll use comprehend languages to review what the passage is.
Okay. As you comprehend this language, it isn't. There are words that are coming out of this: fox, stone, treacle, nightmare, institute, boulder. But like, it is a mixture of draconic, loxodon, and I keep on calling it Prismarian. It's so not primordial. But none of it. It's like a list of languages from. So it's like a list of words from different languages, and you get the feeling that it's not any of these languages. What you're looking at is a cipher, and therefore not a like a language that you can comprehend. Specifically, it is,
Oh, well, that means it's
effectively
a
encoded
key to
text.
something else.
Mm-hmm.
So Prospering asks Aegon, do you mind if I go ahead and keep this? And like he holds up the piece of paper. I think I can talk to Drasimir about this and maybe help Quintilius out.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I don't really care about helping Quintilius, but I mean, I'd be happy to come with you and talk to Drasimir. I mean, I've never met the guy.
I mean, you were told that going in larger groups, it is easy to get access to the place. And Drasimir said he would help.
Yeah, I mean, I'm down to go. 'Cause I really want to figure this out. I mean, if it's a cipher for something, then she's got another piece of text that this like is a key for, so that might be interesting.
Certainly.
I agree.
Yeah, we can go ahead and I mean, we can go as a group. I would like to look a little bit more into the mage hunters anyways, and this might be a good opportunity.
Yeah, gosh, I mean, who knows what it means? That would be crazy. But yeah, great. Sounds good. Thanks.
Whilst you're with Grayson, as well at some point, Sven and Kadorus, Kadorus asks you to invite your group to the Beholders and Behears game as well. He's like organizing it and seems quite animated by it. Whether you do so or not is up to you. I
will
just
certainly speak to them.
I just want to zoom out for a second. I know, like, I'm like fully hinting / railroading things here. You don't have to do any of these. The point is there's 18 NPCs that are all interconnected, and they're all going to have varying things going on, and you're 5 different people that each has a different relationship with all 18 people. So I'm trying to like summarize like 2/3 of the term in these conversations with things happening that would be connected to university life. So I know this feels like fully ham-fisted, but like genuinely just do like what you're taking with the whole Quintilius and Drosimir thing, like of your own interests. That is 100% like what I'm hoping for, and I'm so glad y'all are taking that way. But I totally understand that this is like me just being like, there's this thing, there's this thing, there's this, but I don't know how else to do it, like without just slowing the game right down.
And I like getting all of the pieces.
Yeah. So hopefully it's okay to people. But yeah. Okay, so you have that. What else is going on? Is there anything else? I think we're good.
Prospering has one more thing. After the discussions on like a pool party. I mean, like honestly, he was like, I mean, that's no big deal. I mean, it's a pool party. He's like, I guess it doesn't have to happen. And if it does, I mean, I'll figure it out. But then he thought about it a little bit more on back to what happened at the Ice Palace, what has been going on, honestly, what they were also told, like as a group, to we can help like calm and bring I guess leadership or that presence to the rest of the first years. And Prospering has the idea to essentially just throw a end of the year pool party for all of the
That's cool.
for all of the first years.
I want to talk to you about that after the session, if that's all right.
Yeah, that's fine. I just wanted to bring it up just
That's
so
awesome.
it is on your radar.
Yeah, I like that. Nice. Okay, so the kind of week passes by. Just so we've got like it in my head and on paper. There's still the meetings with any of the teachers that you want, if you want to have those at any point. On the day of the exam, you've got the like the main events. You'd have like the exam and the talent show, and intermixed into that are does Prospering go to speak to Drosimir?
He does, yes.
Basically, Drosimir says that if your group wants to get access, you can probably come in the morning of the of like exam day before the exam, to get access to it, because like it's going to be no one else is wanting access to the archives at that point. There's like, he basically says that's the nearest free slot if you wanted that. If that sounds good to you.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, as I said, Sven and Dravrax, you both know about the Beholders and Behears thing. Whether you tell people or not about that is up to you. Then it's
Dravrax gives the lowdown to the whole group. He also gives an update on the Xanthar situation. I've told everyone before. But and unless anyone has is unagreeable to talking to this being or wants to roleplay any of that out, I'm good to just have that happen. Up to y'all, or do that at a later time.
I mean, that's good. We could.
It's more I want to save the roleplay time for like the actual event. You know what I mean?
Got you. Yeah. Is there anyone else have major thoughts though on what's happening with Xanthar that they want to express now before?
Yeah.
You actually speak to the entity.
Jin.
Anything for Draverax.
Yeah,
Aw.
basically, yeah. Oh, as in,
Thanks,
right,
guy.
okay. I get what you're saying now. I thought you were, yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So, the night before the exam fast approaches, and you're all studying, for whatever reason, and annoyingly so, your dorm rooms are kind of not the most hospitable right now. You found that Alex has kind of gone onto the fritz again. The fireplace is constantly being activated, and so it gets gotten quite hot in there. And one of you probably messaged Nora at some point, and she's trying to investigate that. As you're doing this, you're all able to go to your respective places to study. But I am going to need a study roll for this exam then. The exam itself is going to be the last one of the general studies.
Oh, yeah.
And it's scribbling
Relief
in
to be.
symbology, these symbol glyphs. So, I know it's not, that's a completely different year. 1 second. Help if I got the right school year.
I was like, maybe this exam will help.
Yeah, right. Literally takes you to the same place that we were going to go.
Amazing.
Yeah. Oh, this is just going to be then. Oh shit! No, first year was we've done that first term. This is an exam on. Someone give me one of the lessons on the sheet, please. Study.
Is it the lower hold one that? the
That's introduction to
general
did that.
archaeomancy.
Oh, my bad.
There is arcanobotany for beginners. Was that the one that you were doing?
It might be, yeah.
No, I think
I have that one.
I think when we had originally
Rejigged it.
discussed this, it was we all like there was going to be at least one course from every year
Yeah.
that was like
from every
designated
school.
to a school, and then after that it was just up to us to pick what courses we would like.
Yeah, I'm just trying to work out what second term, which schools it was.
Because Prospering still has 3 more classes he's taking this.
Yeah.
Is it? Does anyone else have speaking the same language?
It'll be beginning incomancy, I think. We'll just say
I
it
don't
is, and
Okay.
we'll move on. So, beginning incomancy. This is all about. So, you get the impression that as you've been speaking with the statues and stuff, you've heard that apparently in the second year you all get access to mascots and stuff, and it seems that each of these schools has like an exam that kind of gives you a taste of what summoning a mascot would be like, because when you finally choose your school you get to summon your mascot to go with it, and it's like this whole ceremony. With the obviously the archaeomancy one, you went into the ruins and we're using the archaeometers to speak to the statues and stuff. Beginning incomancy, it's now about you've been tasked with writing up a report of something impactful that's happened to you at Strixhaven so far, and then animating the text to give it life and animation, and act as if it were an inkling, one of the silver quill mascots, well, the silver quill mascots. So this is about basically practicing for that exam that you're going to have tomorrow. So as we do this, 1 second.
We may have to just recap how the class system works, because I've kind of
Yeah, I'm about to do that now. Yeah.
I'm
So-
like I'm after you were mentioning it, Spirit, like taking multiple classes. I'm like, oh yeah, that's because I don't have a job either. So I would also have a bunch of classes. I just have the one extracurricular.
So you've got the studying phase, which is what we're doing now. Then you've got the testing phase, which will be the exam tomorrow, or next week. So basically, in the studying phase, you can tell me any single skill you want to use, but how you're using it to pass this exam. As I told you, the exam itself is writing up, preparing for the exam is writing up something impactful that happened to you at Strixhaven so far, like an essay. And the actual exam itself is like pulling the ink from the page and turning it into like a living representation of that experience, like in sort of inkling form. And yeah, so how are you all going about preparing your piece, your essay for the exam tomorrow?
Prospering will just kind of formulate like what his text is going to read. Essentially, he's going to practice like exactly what he's going to like write down in a way that makes it easier for like the words to come alive.
Okay.
He's going to be a little bit more concise and descriptive, rather than like explaining the entire event.
Okay. So what this is you're going to do a skill check here. The DC is 13 to explain what you're doing there. And then the next day, if you succeed on this, you'll get an extra reroll on one of the 2 ability checks to pass the exam. Now, the thing to note is you can also study all night if you wanted to as well, regardless of whether you pass or fail this, which will give you another guaranteed studying dice, but it will give you exhaustion after the exam is over. That's something to keep in mind. So, how are you going about studying for this? Like, what skill are you using to kind of get this essay sorted and speaking out what you've written and stuff?
I was going to go with history.
Okay.
As he is attempting to like remember everything and then like picking out the parts that he wants.
Would you say that this is charisma history, as you're like speaking it out, almost like sort of performing it?
Honestly, yeah.
Okay, for it then. DC 13.
I will go ahead and use my Tides of Chaos on this.
Oh my god.
Can't leave anything to chance.
Damn, nice. Very, very good. Yeah, and as you're able to... Oh, wait, you cast a comprehend... Well, I can't bother for that when it's in... We'll do it when it's more meaningful. But yeah, remember, whenever you cast a spell. Yes, you were able to... absolutely, like you feel pretty certain that you've gotten like this experience that you've had at Strixhaven. Like, what are you writing about? Which experience?
He is writing about the experience with the Mage Hunter. Nice.
So you feel like you've got a pretty good grasp on the memory of this. Like, it's pretty fresh anyway, and you feel like you're able to explain it and convey this like experience to someone else with how you've written it. You think you'll do pretty well on the exam as long as you can master the incomancy that you've been taught so far.
Mm-hmm.
Nice one. What about you, Sven?
So Sven will be analyzing the magic that makes this possible.
Nice.
And really just focusing on the root arcana.
Okay, yeah, go for it. DC 13.
You still hear it?
Welp.
Back
to my old roles.
This magic is quite tough for you to understand because it's more of it's less about like when you're trying to analyze it, you're trying to analyze something that is innately like, I guess, about emotion and expression, and like the kind of performance aspect of it. And maybe this is something that isn't quite something Sven's come to grips with yet. You're definitely learning more about it, but you still feel like you're, not on quite the same footing as maybe some of your other classmates with this type of subject. And then what about Thomas? What's Seymour getting up to?
Seymour
How are you studying for this?
Seymour almost always has to study kind of similar to what not in the same way that Sven goes about it, but Seymour just verifies with some of the texts that he got from Plarg, some stuff that he's been getting here and there throughout the past year. He rereads a few of the old texts that he kept from the first semester to like recap on a few things they learned from like A.S. Veronkad.
Okay.
Always go back to fundamentals, things like that. But sometimes he thinks that he's like discovering like something new, but then he realizes, oh wait, this is already like a theorem that's been tracked, so then he's able to skip a bit of time.
Okay, what skill is this that you're using to do this?
Well, let's up and use Arcana.
Okay, yeah, go for it. Honestly, I was kind of hoping that would happen. Because much like with you and Sven, like with the way that you're going about this, you realize that this is like no other exam you've done before up until this point, and this really is like a more emotive and not necessarily like a piece that you can sort of define how it's supposed to come out just by studying like the other exams you've had or the types of magic and stuff. This is like as much a performative piece as it is a sort of insightful one, introspective one. So yeah, you find yourself struggling with the revision of it too. What about Dravarax?
Dravarax is going to think about the time when he fell through the floor of a tomb and ran all the way back to the group, managing to get past an innumerable amount of beasties, including going underwater with just his trunk to
nice snorkeling, yeah.
Snorkeling through, and but he was able to do so without hurting any of the creatures down there, at least at that moment. So I think it was a really scary time for him, obviously, but also one where Eldoth definitely was the big, the power that she gives Dravarax, a big decider in that. So he's going to try to incite his own thoughts and feelings during that time, now that he has had more a longer chance to reflect on it.
Go for it.
Can I use inspiration on this?
If you want to, yeah.
Great. Inspiration to get another inspiration.
Nice.
19.
Yep, you passed that. You are definitely able to have some like sort of, it's more like meditative for you to kind of go over it and kind of just reestablish that connection with the power that Eldoth was able to give you and the good you were able to do with it. And then last but certainly not least, A again, how are you preparing for this exam?
Since it's essay based, Aegon is just going to continue writing the essay over and over as to build like muscle memory for
Okay.
how it's supposed to go. So I was hoping that was like a sleight of hand kind of thing.
I'm going to say this is a wisdom-based sleight of hand. Then I'll go with that.
Sure,
I think that's fair.
sure. I don't know about that, but it's fine. We'll try it.
Hey, oh,
No, yeah.
yikes. That is just under. So just shy of that one. Okay, so currently we have Prospering has a dice, Seema doesn't, Sven doesn't, Dravrax has a dice, Aegon doesn't. Is anybody studying all night for this exam?
Yes.
Okay, so you get one Seymour. Anyone else?
Absolutely not.
Nope.
Okay. Then as far as I can tell...
The trial continues of Seymour just studying all night for every single
Yeah.
exam.
In the middle of the night, Sven, suddenly a bunch of notes are returned to your desk from Seymour. He goes, "These are trash. I'm getting nowhere from copying you."
Nice. I will say, keep in mind if you fail an exam, then your extracurriculars get given up for. Well, one of them gets given up for going back to study for it. So just keep that in mind.
And Sven, you can see that Seymour's math is absolute utter garbage on what he's done so far. He's totally wrong.
Looking at the math, Sven says, it seems like you have successfully created some runes here."
Oh.
Nice. Okay. So that night, you all return to the dorm. Nora says that she has tried to do as best she can with the heating situation and has effectively just turned our Alexa off. She says, though, so you'll have to get yourselves up the next morning, but she says if at any point, there's any more issues, come and get her immediately and she'll try and expedite this, but she'll have somebody to sort it the day after tomorrow. She's just sorry she couldn't get it sorted before exam day, and hopes it doesn't interfere with anything that you've got planned for the talent show. And as you all go to sleep that night, you all begin to dream, and as you dream, you find yourselves in a place where snow falls around you, but as it falls, it seems to kind of like stick midair now and then, as if it's falling onto this invisible sort of line in front of you. For you, Seymour, I don't know, actually, does Seymour dream? Can Seymour dream?
We've kind of talked about it. He doesn't really dream in the traditional sense, no.
Got you. You think back, and think back to a snowy sort of day, and it was strange because that it wasn't really snow. It was probably ash of some sort that fell across your habitat.
Factories, yeah.
But as it fell, you kind of remember seeing it sort of sticking kind of like midair, and as you got closer it seemed to shimmer and shine at you, and this kind of like memory kind of comes to the forefront as you sleep that night. Dravrax, as you are sleeping soundly, you dream of a winter service that you had at one of the temples of Eldoth, and you remember kind of thinking about the age of this place and yet how lovely it was that it was able to stay warm and keep you kind of and the followers safe from the cold. And you were there with your, is it Glenda? Galena, your grandma, and she pointed to you and you saw...
My Nana.
You what, sorry? Your grandma,
My
yeah.
Nana.
Nana, yeah.
Yeah.
She pointed to you, and as you kind of looked out the window, you saw the snow falling on the window and again almost holding itself midair. as it seemed to create this strange pattern across the pane. Sven, you dream of the blizzard you once... Well, you kind of recall a memory of a blizzard you once were training in, and how you noted as you were toughing out the dire cold temperatures to get used to that kind of thing, there seemed to be a strange set of circuitry in front of you that you hadn't seen before, and these strange little nanobots in the facility you were exploring moved back and forth and left this almost translucent circuitry like across one of the old clockwork boxes that you were about to start work upon. For you, Prosperine, yours is a little darker. You remember the first days of dealing with your curse, and you actually found yourself running away at some point from some kids that were being less than kind to you. It was one of the first times you kind of like had started to, well, your parents had tried to like re-socialize you and it hadn't gone well. It was at some party of some kind. And you went through a forest that had snow falling across it, and you kept on hearing a soft cackle at the back of your mind, and you couldn't shake whether it was the kind of like sound of the kids' laughter echoing after you as they tried to chase you deeper into this forest, or something else, something in the corner of your imagination. And as you ran into this, you got your face all of a sudden felt like it was freezing as you hit into this snow that seemed to be suspended in midair, and it clung to you. And finally, again, as you dream, you find yourself falling. You look around and there are these alkins standing around you, but all of a sudden you begin to fall because they are massive beyond any scale you've seen before. They are huge and you are so small compared to them, and you keep on falling and falling, and as you fall, all of a sudden you land in this lattice-like structure and it freezes against your feathers, and you find yourself pinned there for a moment. And these strange giant alkin try and reach out to you. And all of a sudden, as screaming erupts all around all of you, you wake up blinking. And that is where we're going to end today's session.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're fucked up.
Good
Thanks.
session. Eric just doesn't ever want to end.
4 more hours, let's go.
I'll
cannot
go put
survive
more
that.
coffee on.
Amazing. Ugh.
I mean, I actually would do tomorrow if like folks wanted to, but I mean, I'm not gonna, there's no pressure. Anyway, thank you very much. I will do stars and wishes for a second, but I'm just gonna stop the stream for now, so I'll be right back. So that is the end of today's session. I hope you all enjoyed that. Got a bit of a cliffhanger, and I'm looking forward to finally looking into what happens with this little dorm room scene I have planned. So we'll look into that. But that is it for now. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll speak to you all soon. Goodbye.